to our channel, Project XYZ, with your host, T-Bird, and his co-host, me, Double D, and you're here on the Brick Road Podcast.
Let's go. And on the Brick Road Podcast, we like to talk about a lot of current political events, things that are going on in the world, and giving you our raw, unbiased truth. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing we're going to talk about here on the Brick Road Podcast is the meeting that happened between Trump and Zelensky. How funny is it that this dude comes in here, right, and he thinks he can just own the room when he's in the room with Trump? It's not happening. We all know that Trump is the leader of the room wherever he goes, no matter what's going on, right?
Yep. I'd like to say, I think Zelensky walked here thinking he was going to bully the big guy.
Right.
It backfired.
It really did. And, you know, my friend put it in a way that made so much sense. He's used to Biden being his sugar daddy. Now we got a pimp in office, and it's just not happening anymore.
That's right. The pimp collects the check.
So, and I love it. We're going to get into the video right here, but I love how Trump just takes control of everything after a little while. Let's start it though. We don't got the whole thing for you guys. We're just doing the exchange that got heated between them, because the whole thing's like 49 minutes long. We're not going to overanalyze that. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Roll it,
United
Bird.
States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
And I like that, because it's just crazy to me how people can say he's a dictator, he's a fascist, he's a this, he's a that, he's a third. I've never heard people that wanted to be dictators or fascists or anything speak about wanting peace around the world. It's just not a thing.
It definitely is not.
Not the way that he wants peace, right? Hitler might have said he wanted peace, but he wanted to kill people to do it. Go ahead. Sorry. No, you're good. Whereas Trump wants people to not die. That's not the speech, the mentality, the way of life of a dictator. It's just not.
I was going to say, if anything, Zelensky is closer to a dictator than Donald Trump is. I mean, if I'm correct on this, didn't Zelensky cancel their last elections because they're in a martial law state of war?
Yes, I believe they did. Which it's a hard thing, because what JD Vance goes into here in a little bit about the propaganda, it's just we don't know what's really going on over there, because we don't know what's real and what's fake from what they're showing us, right?
Exactly.
Especially when your president is an actor, and not a good actor at all.
He was B-rated at best. If anything, the guy who played the Toxic Avenger has more talent than he does.
Right. So he wasn't even that great of an
horrible actor, by the way.
He's not a good actor, which is why he's not a good president.
Yep.
Let's keep it going.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Exactly. Boom. Yeah, nothing else really needs to be explained other than that. What Trump is doing is the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that these people, and it goes to show how much hatred that liberals have, that he could do something right and they'll still say it's wrong, no matter what, even if they agree with it.
Oh, if he says up, they're going to say down. If he
Right.
says right, they're going to say left.
So-
if he says inside, they're going to say outside.
So I have a friend in Australia who's like far left, right? And
A lot of them there are.
he hates Trump. And I decided to show him Trump's list on his website of things he wants to accomplish. And this dude literally agreed with everything but one. And the one thing he didn't agree with didn't make sense why he didn't agree with it. He just disagreed with it just to disagree with it. Right?
Well,
so
yeah,
it's like
because he was 0 for 10, so he's like, I got to get at least.
I got to
one.
get at least one so I can make. But there's no redemption after that. Like you lost all credibility with things you said. And then me and him were talking about how when J.D. Vance went to Germany, and he's like, "Oh, it's none of the United States business what goes on in Germany." I'm like, "Well, we do fund Germany." He's like, "No, you guys don't." Blah blah blah. And then I go on to show him that we are funding Germany still. And he's like, "Oh, well, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, I just don't even want to have the conversation with you guys no more. It makes zero sense to do it.
Yeah, here's where Zelensky really screwed up the most. He forgot to read the book,
Yeah.
The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
He should have read Trump's book. He should have read it.
He really should have. All right, let's get back into this.
All right.
You?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. That people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are
President,
not
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people.
Right there's where he called him the B word.
Yeah, he calls them the suka.
Yeah.
You bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respect?
Let's talk a little bit about the propaganda going on, right? So
Yeah, that's what this whole stunt was for him.
right. So during the war, during the middle of the war, him and his wife do a Vogue photo shoot, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
During the middle of a war, he decides to come to the Grammys to beg for more money in front of the American people on national television.
Yes, he did.
You're in the middle of a war. Why are you at the Grammys? Why are you doing Vogue photo shoots? During the middle of the war, Ben Stiller came there.
Yes, he did.
What?
That was a huge publicity stunt.
That's like
he was
that,
just trying. He was trying to win the graces of Hollywood because he knows that Hollywood can spread a message pretty fast through their controlled media,
especially through the libtards. It's hard for somebody to have. I don't want to say compassion. Just say, okay, this guy's in the right when all that wrong is going on. So that's why it's hard for people to believe whether what's really going on in Ukraine is as bad as they say it is, or if it's not as bad as they say it is. That's why everybody's on the fence about it.
And since this war started, obviously the Democrats and the liberal left have been painting him as he's some kind of angel, or without any. They basically painted this man as if he was a saint and a savior.
Right.
He's not. He's farthest from it. He doesn't even. He don't even know how to be a savior. All he knows how to do is grovel for money. And all he's $650 billion later. I mean, come on, man. That's more money than we spent on Vietnam, the Gulf War, and Desert Storm at the same time. And I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still,
it's just
what I mean. It's that's crazy, man.
We have so many homeless veterans on our streets. We have so much crime in our inner cities. None of our kids can read and write. Like, why are we worried about all these overseas conflicts when we have to worry about ourselves?
I have a little small theory about all this, too, with the whole Ukraine thing.
Okay.
First of all, there is no proof that they actually have lithium. They're just claiming that they have lithium minerals that can be mined. We have yet to see that.
Okay.
Now, maybe Putin knows something that we don't. You know what I mean? Because he is going after that region. Although I'm pretty sure his main target is that nuclear power plant. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But with that said, let's assume they have lithium. Let's assume that. So Joe Biden's son, the crackhead and prostitute lover, decides that he's going to go to Burisma, or with Burisma. They force somebody who's investigating it in their own law enforcement out of his position.
Okay.
So the whole Burisma thing, there's a connection here. And the connection is that lithium.
Yes.
All right. Those electric cars. Burisma was a electric power company. Am I correct? Isn't that what they are? A power company or something like that?
I believe you're right.
Okay. So if that's... Obviously, that lithium means something to somebody. But what has Joe Biden been pushing for the last 4 years since he became president? Electric cars, electric cars, electric cars. We're going to end gas-powered combustion cars by 2030. Now, why was that? Because Zelensky's got the lithium.
Okay.
We've been buying that lithium, but not getting the lithium. They gave him $650 billion, and we still don't got one battery from there.
So do you think that that's why Joe Biden started funding so much to Zelensky, or maybe was told to fund? Because I don't think Joe Biden was making any decisions.
I'm not sure. I don't think Joe Biden. Yeah, I don't think he was.
I don't think he's in the mental state. I don't think he's in the mental state. Ever has been.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if he knows what lithium is, to be honest.
I wonder.
You know what I mean?
I wonder.
I mean that in the nicest way to the guys. My father had Alzheimer's, so I don't want to beat up a dementia patient too much.
No, for sure.
But,
I just wonder if he doesn't even know he's president anymore. He's not president.
I'm not sure he never knew he was.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Dr. Jill was running the country. Her and Obama.
So bad.
They just didn't get along, and they didn't do a very good job together.
So bad. Bad.
We should probably roll this because he's coming to the part that I was looking forward
to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
I've
what
never
you're
seen
doing
him
is
get
very
so mad before.
disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
you.
I don't blame him, though.
far more than a lot of people say
I don't either.
they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, you
I
said
love
thank
JD.
you. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned.
It's like little brother, big brother.
I know, man.
Like, oh, you're not going to talk to my brother like that. Yeah, don't
No,
talk to him
man.
like that.
That's right. Yeah, they're a great team, dude. This is the best tag team
Like-
I've ever seen in the White House, bro, in my
I-
lifetime.
I can't stand that he didn't win in 2020, but I think it's a blessing in disguise that we got rid of Mike Pence and we got somebody like
Absolutely.
JD Vance, and we have like literally like the Avengers of
We do. Our
of the MAGA
future is
movement.
right there. Our future is right there, sitting with the beard and the blue suit.
Think about it, right?
That's a
Think about it. We could have somebody even like, I wouldn't even mind RFK becoming president.
No, I love RFK, dude. He's a true libertarian.
Yeah.
He really is.
So-
he just doesn't know it.
Like, imagine like Vance
He doesn't
picking
know he
him.
is.
Vance saying, "Okay, I want you to be my VP." Because I don't see Vance not running in 2028. I don't see it
Oh no, he's definitely running.
unless
I don't
they
see
find
why
a way.
He wouldn't.
Unless they find a way to do that third term for Trump, like they've been talking about. That's the only way.
That would have to take a change of the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, which would require Congress
Right.
to pass that, and then 2/3 of the states would have to ratify it.
Right. So
Constitutional amendments happen once or twice in a lifetime.
Yeah, it doesn't happen
That's
very
why there's
often.
only 28 of them.
Yeah, that's why
there's
they
not
do-
a lot.
they do not come. They do not come very easily. All right, let's get back into
No.
it.
For the opposition in October, offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America
Right.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You
can't
we
get
gave
up
you
and like a
military
laugh.
equipment.
You-
I love
They're
it.
not brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
When
our
you-
military equipment,
You see Trump?
Awesome.
Trump pushed him a
I
little.
can listen to that 100 times.
Did you
man.
see Trump push him a little? Hey.
Yeah, he does. He kind of pushes him out of his place a little bit, like, you better back up, little boy.
Right. You don't run stuff little 4 foot nothing.
You know what Zelensky reminds me of? He reminds me of somebody, because Russia and Ukraine are basically the same thing, all right? They
Right.
speak the same language.
No.
They've been the same country on and off for thousands of years, okay? So basically, Zelensky is the little brother. Putin is the big brother. The big brother is beating up on the little brother, so he's trying to get his big brother's nemesis to go and beat him up for him.
Right.
And collect $650 billion while he's asking for another $60 billion as he's sitting there. Anyway, I digress. I just couldn't. I had to say that. Sorry.
No, you're correct. You're very correct.
if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would be over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long.
He's right.
Be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
This is called transparency with the American people. So Trump is absolutely right on that.
Yeah, he is.
1,000%.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
that
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
That wasn't
this
with me.
means.
Right.
It was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that
is
was
Yeah,
with
truly
Obama.
the
It
dumbest
was your
president we ever had was
That
Joe
was with
Biden.
Obama,
Seriously.
who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us,
definitely
you
does
have
not.
the cards.
He does not.
But without us, you don't have any cards.
So Trump told him, sign the deal. Get it done.
Absolutely. Are they going to play the part where he talks about how Zelensky basically wanted him to trash Putin? And it's like he can't do that, because if he does that, Putin's not going to want to sit down and talk about any ceasefire. He's going to be like, F you and F them too. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
for sure. For sure. Trump's smart about that.
Yeah, he's the art of the deal, man. He's the real deal, is what he is.
1,000%.
Question to this Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if
He's right.
Russia breaks
1,000%.
ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
What
She's
if
asking,
Russia-
what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
Well, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But look,
Let me tell you, Putin.
It's very true, though. It is true.
Oh, he's right. They had no respect for Biden.
No
at all.
respect for Obama, no respect for Biden. Trump and Putin have a level of respect with each other, because Trump will do things that no other president will do. Like when he went over to what was it, South Korea, and stepped on the where no other president has ever stepped with the Xi Jinping or whatever his name
You
is.
mean North Korea, right?
Or North
What's his
Korea,
name?
yeah, sorry.
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. Yeah, when he stepped on, and he was like, "Hey, may I step here?" He said yes. And dude, him and Kim Jong-un are like cool as hell with each other now.
Yeah, they probably Facebook each other and
Yeah,
shit on
I
FaceTime.
know they write each other. I know they write each other. He said sometimes. So
Well, Kim Jong-un wishes he had the sack that Trump has,
yeah,
but
but it just
I mean,
goes to show.
No disrespect to Kim Jong-un, but he's not as tough as he wants the world to
No,
think he is.
no,
either.
for sure. But it just goes to show the level of respect that these leaders have for Trump. That they're even willing to talk down and about a ceasefire with him, where they wouldn't do that
Exactly.
with Biden. They said, as long as you just came and give me more money, give me more money, give me more money, give me more
I
money.
mean, if you ask yourself this question with Biden, could have they even really sat down and talked with him anyway? The man couldn't even put two sentences together for more than 2 minutes, and he fell asleep half the time during those sessions. He'd be in a session with 7 leaders and he's snoozing or turning his back to the camera and walking and talking to who
Exactly.
knows what the hell he was talking to. Dead people? I don't know. Maybe he was talking to St. Peter, calling him to the gates. Like, come on, man, follow the light, Joe. Just follow the light.
Just follow the light, Joe.
Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom.
That's
It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And you people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh?
I agree. I agree with Trump.
Yeah, he's absolutely right, man. I mean, it is what it is, man. You gotta. Ceasefire is the only way. You got to start somewhere. And if he's not willing to start with that, then he's just riding the gravy train.
Exactly. And you can't just come in here and expect and not expect to give nothing.
And if he really thinks that $5 billion from Great Britain is going to make that big of a difference, he's already whipped through $650 billion in 3 years.
That
$5 billion is going to be gone next week. And it's, you know what? Putin is still going to be running Ukraine in 3 weeks.
They can't even account for like $120 billion that we gave them.
Oh, I'm sure they can account for it if they audit their accounts and their crypto accounts.
Audit their pockets, audit their own pockets, that's for sure.
Audit their offshore accounts in Sweden. I bet they'll find that $120 billion.
So for me, after hearing, we got Carolyn Levitt right here. She talks about a little bit about everything that happened afterwards. For me, she's like a breath of fresh air as compared to what was the redheaded chick's name that Biden had, and then
circle back Psaki.
Yeah, Jen Psaki, Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Jean-Claude Pierre, whatever her name is.
Yeah, whatever her name is. Circle back Psaki has a better ring. I got to at least give her credit for that. Her nickname has a better ring. Circle back Psaki.
I love the way that she handles the media. She's a lot like, what's her name? McEnany. Maybe a little bit more.
She's a lot like Kayleigh.
Maybe a little bit more bulldogish though.
She's a pit bull.
For sure. So
she's a pit bull.
I haven't heard this yet. Let's see what she says.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet either.
I think it remains to be seen. I defer to President Trump on what his next step is and what happens moving forward. But the president made his position quite clear today when he asked Zelensky and the Ukrainians to depart the White House. He feels as President Zelensky is not in the right mindset to negotiate peace. And I think, frankly, that was reinforced with his comments on Bret Baier refusing to apologize for disrespecting the president and the American people in the Oval Office. The president Zelensky was in the White House today and had a real chance to sign an economic agreement that would have been great for the American people to recoup our tax dollars and great for the Ukrainian people to rebuild their country. And unfortunately, he blew the deal up in his own face.
Was the White House expecting an apology? We saw that he didn't directly say that he owes Trump one.
I don't think we were expecting anything, to be honest with you.
Just on the flip side of this, obviously,
brutally honest.
So is the White House going to ramp up negotiations with Putin, with Russia? Could the president potentially travel to meet President Putin sooner than later?
I'm not tracking anything in terms of next steps in the engagement with Putin and the Russians. The president has made it clear always that both sides need to talk equally to bring both sides to the table to negotiate a deal. And, in a good deal, any good deal, whether it's in business or in politics, both sides usually walk away a little bit unhappy. Unfortunately for Zelensky, I think he refuses to recognize the practical reality of this war. It's been going on for years. His countrymen are dying, and the people who have been funding this effort, the American people, are sick and tired of footing this bill. So it's a much...
You know what's crazy, right? All right, so we just heard Trump, Vance, and Zelensky all go at it, right?
Yeah.
She just summed it up in 2 seconds.
She sure did.
She just summed it all up for us in 2 seconds.
And she's right. The most important thing that she said there is the American people are sick and tired of funding it. We're tired of all our prices going up. We're tired of, our tax dollars getting sent over there to do nothing, except for enrich Zelensky and his wife and his little communist crew.
Right.
Because whatever he claims, he's a dictator. He is still an authoritarian dictator. He canceled, most importantly, he canceled that because he wouldn't have got reelected.
Yeah.
Because he's been failing. And they know that. And the people of Ukraine know that.
So,
a right winger probably would have taken his position and kicked him out. And we would be sitting in a right different place right now if Zelensky was no longer president of Ukraine.
Exactly.
And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. The man needs to be removed from office. He needs to go ahead. If you want us to, you know what? You want America's help? Be a democracy.
Honestly,
be a true democracy, and Americans will be behind that.
I think Ukraine's actually calling to impeach him.
They should impeach him. The man basically crowned himself king.
Right. I mean, it just doesn't make sense why he thinks he can come here and say what he wants and do what he wants, and we're just supposed to bend over for him.
I think he thought he could punk Trump out.
Yeah, because he probably just talks to Biden.
De Niro.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be like, he thinks like Robert De Niro and people like that. They think they speak to Trump, and Trump just says, "Who cares? They're nobodies." You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
But you're not going to come and speak to him like that in his face. He's going to let you know. I've seen videos of people talking about Trump, and they say like Trump's a lot tougher than you think he is.
Well, literally 6 days before Zelensky was here, he was referring to Trump as the dictator. I'm thinking to myself, well, Trump was just duly elected by a landslide.
Right.
Who duly elected Zelensky in the last election? Oh,
no
nobody,
one.
because they didn't have one. That's right. He canceled the election. Martial law.
Exactly.
We're in the middle of a war. Well, you know what? He's not doing a good job with it because he doesn't know how to.
Exactly.
Different situation for him than it was 3 years ago, and as President Trump said today, he doesn't have any cards. The cards are not in his favor. They're in President Trump's favor. There's a new leader in the White House who has much different priorities than the last administration. He wants peace. He wants the war to end, and it doesn't seem like Zelensky wants that quite yet.
Switching gears real fast, Carol.
Very true. Very true.
That's
it does not
true.
seem like Zelensky
I like
wants.
how she just walked away from him too. She's like, "This conversation's over."
So
it was that was great. Love it out.
Yep, for real.
She
So
just rolled up.
this is Zelensky. This is Zelensky, I guess, meeting with the UK Prime Minister.
Yes, this is the one where they're. Yeah, this is the $5 billion deal I was telling you about.
Okay, well, let's check it out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
This looks like propaganda right here.
It's totally propaganda. Why is Ukraine's flag back there?
Right, and then why did you say, okay, make sure you're on your side with the flag, and I'll be on my side with the flag?
Right.
Thank you very much. Well, let me just say that you're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. And we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take. And I hope you heard some of that cheering in the street.
That's kind of sad to just blindly stand with someone.
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be their conservative? Isn't he like a conservative? This what's his name again? Prime Minister, what's his name?
Keir Starmer.
Keir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Keir. Yeah. Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer. Oh yeah. Nobody with a name like that can be a possible conservative. There's no way. That sounds like a commie name.
He's sitting like he's sitting like a liberal.
Yeah, he sits like a little suka.
How much they support you, how much they support Ukraine, and our absolute determination to stand with you, unwavering determination, and to achieve what we both want to achieve, which is a lasting peace for Ukraine based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. So important for Ukraine, so important for Europe, and so important for the United Kingdom. So I'm much looking forward to our discussions here this afternoon. Thank you very much for making the time to come.
With pleasure. Thank you very much, Keir. Mr.
Keir.
Prime Minister, happy to be here. And really, I saw a lot of people, and I want to thank you people of the United Kingdom, such big support from the very beginning of this war. Thank
he can thank the
your
UK,
team.
huh?
And
Right. Doesn't want to thank Trump or any of
Yeah,
us for giving him
he can thank
billions
the
and
UK
billions
for
and
their-
billions.
Yeah, he can thank the UK for their $5 billion, but he can't thank us for the $650 billion that he seemed to squander away.
Yep.
This guy is a criminal, dude. He belongs in prison.
He definitely
I'm sorry.
does. If there was, he definitely needs to.
He belongs in jail, dude. He belongs. His people need to throw him in jail.
Too bad that we can't hold him accountable for his crimes.
Well, Joe Biden would have given him an unconditional pardon anyway.
Yeah, 1,000%. He definitely would have, if he didn't already.
I'm sure he did. It was we just don't know about it because it doesn't matter. He's not American.
Right.
His Majesty the King accepted my meeting tomorrow, and I'm thankful that you organized such a great summit for tomorrow. And we are very happy in Ukraine that we have such strategic partners. We signed with you historic documents.
100-year agreement.
Yeah, we have only with you such documents with the United Kingdom. So we're happy, and we count on your support. And really,
Here, pause that for a second.
really.
I want to know what's in those documents. I bet it's lithium.
Right here? Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
I guarantee you there's some lithium in those documents.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know, what a bunch of opportunists, man.
Yeah.
They don't care about World War III. They don't care about the lives that are dying as long as they get their lithium and he gets his next
That is very true.
paycheck. I mean, you know what? Zelensky, there was a time that I felt, empathetic for that guy, but my empathy is gone for him. It no longer exists. My empathy is for the Ukrainian people who are going to die because of his greed.
Definitely,
That's where my empathy
1,000%.
is.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like people like me who don't support this and don't want us to fund this. That's not me saying I want the Ukrainian people to be in any harm. It's not their fault. Just like it's not our fault for what Joe Biden did. That's not our fault. None of that's our fault. It's it is somewhat the people's fault who voted for him. But if they don't know that they're getting that, then it's not nobody's fault. But everybody in the comments down below, let me know, what do you guys think of this whole Zelensky-Trump situation? Do you guys think it's a good thing? Do you guys think it's a bad thing? Do you guys think Trump's in the right? Do you think Zelensky's in the right? Let us know down below. We want to know. We'd love to know your comments on what is going on and how you feel about it, because you know how we feel about it. We're not for it.
You know how Double D feels about it,
right?
I'm done with this guy, man. I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know. I'm so done with Zelensky. He couldn't leave fast enough, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. So let's move on to our next topic. I love that the Maga conservative group is starting to really take over, and now we're finally getting our governors in place, because like we talked about Ron DeSantis, and I like Ron DeSantis. I think he did great with Florida.
He turned Florida into one of the greatest states in the union.
Like how we were talking off camera about how it's one of the best school systems there is in our country right now, and how free he made the state. He was probably one of the best, if not the best, with the COVID lockdowns, as far
Absolutely.
as where me personally, I don't think we should have been locked down at all.
Florida.
Right.
Actually, if I'd have known that we were doing Florida today, I would have worn my free state of Florida shirt.
There you go. So I don't think we should have been locked down at all. Period.
No, absolutely not. And Mike DeRino had no problem doing it.
Right. But now with us, with the wave of conservatism and the wave of Trump and the wave of his influence on people, we're finally getting our governors in our states that we need, right? Where I feel I mean, obviously we don't know, but I feel as if Byron Donalds will be an upgrade to Ron DeSantis. What do you think?
I believe so. I've actually, you already know I'm a huge Byron Donalds fan.
Right.
As we discussed earlier, he grew up in Brooklyn, New York, but since he was 17 years old, he's pretty much been living in the Central Florida area.
Right.
And I've always been a big fan of him. But you know why I like Byron the most? Because he's not afraid. He's not afraid to tell the truth.
He's like J.D. Vance.
He's a true soldier of truth.
He's like J.D. Vance. He's a lot like J.D. Vance.
Absolutely. And those two would make a great, pair for president and vice president one day. I could see a Vance Donald's ticket.
I
could see it.
I actually would not mind that at all. That
would be a great ticket, actually.
No, that would be a really good ticket. So
Byron will be done with he'll be done with at least half of his first term by the time that comes.
So
he'll pick a good lieutenant governor.
Right, for sure. So with Trump, I'll guarantee Trump told Byron, he said, go run for governor of Florida, I'll help you get elected. Same thing he did with Vivek with us in Ohio. He's gonna back him, he's gonna put his all behind him to get him elected. We need people like these guys to be running our states, especially here in Ohio, where we've been a swing state for a while, but we've been pretty much red the past, I'd say 12 years ever since Trump. I feel like we voted Trump all 3 years.
All three. I always hear the left talking about that they're the revolution.
But
they believe that they are the revolution,
but
they're not.
What does that mean to them, though?
Are the revolution?
What does that mean to them, though?
I have no idea, but I know what it means to us. It's a revolution of liberty, choice, and freedom.
Right.
And
getting back to normal.
Their idea of revolutions is lockdowns, masks, and DEI. And you know
and
what?
Government assistance.
That's not a revolution. That's called government overreach.
Yes.
But in our college campuses today, we've got children, and I mean children, wasting their parents' money or their government's money on an education that they're not getting because it's indoctrination. It's not an education. They're being indoctrinated into a bunch of candy-ass little commies. And that's the truth.
That is very true. Also, hey, everybody in the comments down below, let us know what state you live in and who you plan on voting for in the next governor race. Let us know. Let's get into this, though. So we got Byron Donalds finally announced his candidacy for Florida governor.
Right. Late last week, President Trump endorsed Congressman Byron Donalds for governor of my free state of Florida, but now Donalds has yet to announce his candidacy, but he is already receiving a lot of support. However, it does look like an early fight could be emerging. Reports in Florida suggesting that Casey DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife, is considering a run as well. Here with more, Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, great to have you. How are you?
It's good to be with you, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
All right. If you want to make any announcements to make, is it true? I mean, you got the support of President Trump. Where do you stand? Are you ready to make the plunge?
Well, look, Sean, after a lot of prayer, a lot of thoughts with my family and my friends, I'm here to announce my candidacy to be the next governor of the great state of Florida.
I would like to say to the state of Florida, Byron Donald has our endorsement for governor of Florida.
Yes, 1,000%.
100%.
I love it. I love it.
And Sean, we have a wonderful state. I got to Florida when I was 17 years old off of a Greyhound bus with just a trunk full of clothes. And over the rest of my time in Florida, I built a family. I built a career, 17 years in financial services. I joined the Tea Party movement, was in the conservative movement. I was able to serve 4 years in the state legislature, 4 years in Congress. And I think now is the time to now take the mantle and lead our state into the future. We have a great governor. Ron DeSantis has done a tremendous job for our state. But now the job is to keep the best state in the country as the best state in the country. And so that's going to be the mission at hand. And I'm excited to announce my candidacy with you tonight.
Okay, so
I'm excited about it, too, especially being someone who has family and friends and connections to the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, I have family in Florida, too, all in Daytona. I think this is what's going to happen. Obviously, Ron DeSantis isn't going to back him because he wants his wife to run. The same thing is going to happen with Trump, and it's going to come down to where Ron DeSantis says, okay, Byron Donalds has my endorsement.
Yeah, because I don't think Casey has no real, look, she's a wonderful person. Ron DeSantis has a beautiful family, a beautiful wife who's very intelligent. But honestly, it's just,
nothing.
It's not.
It's nothing there. There's nothing there.
there's nothing there. Byron Donalds is the next governor of the state of Florida.
Yes.
And no disrespect, Mr. DeSantis, but I'm just saying Byron Donalds is the next governor of Florida. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I don't see it going any other way.
I love it because he brings that little New York attitude with him.
Yeah, well,
kind of like Trump.
Full of a lot of that. So
kind of like Trump.
Florida is a suburb of New York.
Yeah, same thing of Ohio, though, dude. Florida's a suburb of Ohio, 1,000%.
Absolutely, and Michigan, and Tennessee, and pretty much anywhere east of the Mississippi.
Yes.
We appreciate the announcement. What do you make of the reports that the governor's wife is considering a run? She's a very well-liked first lady.
Well, I mean, honestly, right now, it's very early. I'm the only person in this race right now, so we'll see what happens. But I will tell you, Sean, I'm excited to have the full endorsement of President Trump.
I love
he
it.
has a lot of faith in me. And to the people of Florida, I would tell you that for a long time, I've been in the trenches in a lot of these battles dealing with conservatism. A bill I passed when I was a freshman in the state legislature, Sean, allowed parents to examine the materials in front of their children. Then Governor Rick Scott signed that bill into law. So I have a long history in the conservative movement, and I have one of the strongest conservative records, both in the State House and up here in Congress, that proves that I will not let you down, that all of the victories and the successes that Florida has been able to accomplish, we're only going to take that and build upon it. We're going to continue to be the freest state and the best state going forward.
I love it. I like it.
I'm absolutely about it, man. 1,000% Byron Donalds has my endorsement. Hell, I wish I could go vote in Florida too.
Right. Dual citizenship.
I'll be here in Ohio voting for Vivek.
Yeah, for sure. We'd be like Barack Obama's brother who decided to come back just to vote for Trump from the Congo.
Yeah, no shit, no kidding. I would love to be that guy. I could be the brother from another mother going down there voting for Byron.
Right.
What would you like to build on? What would your agenda be? Obviously, I have a vested interest in this, living in the state that I love, that you've lived in since you were 17, as you said. And I've had property down here for almost 3 decades, for crying out loud. And it's, for me, home. And obviously, I have a vested interest in the state doing well. Big shoes to fill. I think Governor DeSantis has done a great job for the state. And, you know, what are the issues you see that you would want to maybe take to another level?
Well, Sean, I agree with you. Governor DeSantis has done a tremendous job. So a couple of things. First, we have an insurance problem in our state. You know, my career in banking, insurance, and in financial services, I want to make sure that we solve this problem for the people of Florida. And it's going to mean bringing every stakeholder to the table, because the people of Florida is what's going to matter. We got to solve it. We got to stabilize those costs. I want to turn Florida into the financial hub of the world. Digital Assets has made a home in South Florida. I want to make sure that we become the most business-friendly state in our country, for businesses to incorporate in our state, but then also for the state to take the lead on cryptocurrency and digital assets. I would even consider having crypto be a part of the state's financial portfolio. We're going to build on the work that
How do you feel about the whole crypto stuff like that?
I always have loved that about Byron. He has been a strong crypto supporter right from the beginning.
Yeah,
There's never been a time that I've ever heard him try to shoot crypto down or stand in its way. I love that. That is a great idea. That's almost like, you know, with Elon Musk, he wants to use Dogecoin as the currency for the Federal Reserve. They do $5 trillion a year in transactions. It's the way they got to. It's the future.
No,
it's
for sure.
And Byron can see it coming.
I'm cool with like a mix of digital currency and paper currency. You know, with both of them being options. Not just,
absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if we just went completely digital, then the government would have complete control of us, because they could just monitor anything they want, and they could do like the Canadians did to the truck drivers and put a freeze on their accounts and stuff like that. So I'm cool with both. I like both. I like the idea of both. Just like I'm not a big electric car person, but I like the idea of having options of either or.
Absolutely. I wouldn't mind having one of each.
Right. You know, just
I would love to have myself an electric car that, you know, is dependable, but I don't want it catching fire in the middle of the highway with my friends in it or my family.
Right, or
right now they haven't perfected that part yet.
No, for sure. Or the battery.
We need that lithium from Zelensky. That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely do. Or they said like the batteries cost like $4,000 on some of the cars.
Well, you know, my neighbor just had a new battery put in his, and he's only got a hybrid, and he had to get the new battery. It was $2,750.
That's ridiculous.
$2,750, and that wasn't even brand new.
That is ridiculous.
Governor DeSantis did when it comes to our environment, making sure that we finish the job on restoring the Everglades waterways, having clean water for all of our constituencies and for our environment. And last but not least, education, Sean. We've been doing a great job in our state, but my focus would be on making sure that every child has the tools available to them to be proficient in math, in reading, in writing, and in reasoning. Those are the things that are going to take our state from being great now to being even greater.
Can you remain a congressman and run at the same time? We only have about
yes, sir. Sean, I'm not going anywhere. We really did a really good job passing the resolution tonight. I'm here to make sure we get the president's agenda done. So rest assured, I'm staying in place. We're going to make sure we continue to fix Washington and make America great again.
I like it.
Absolutely, I love it. He's there's your next governor of Florida.
1,000%.
Shout out to Moon Lake. There's your next governor, y'all.
1,000%. And here we have Ron DeSantis offers no warm words for Byron Donalds. Okay, I understand saying I'm not going to endorse him, but you're not at least going to say, hey, good luck, you know? Like, I live in Florida as well, and I want Florida to be ran greatly. So even if it's not my wife, hopefully if you do come in and you're the governor, you're going to run it properly. Like, wouldn't that be the thing to say?
Would think so. I'm actually surprised that Ron DeSantis, it's starting to seem to me like the king doesn't want to let the throne go.
Yeah.
And he's going to use his wife to inherit it. And that's just...
You're probably right. You're probably right.
I don't... Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor. Don't be on the wrong side of history on this one. Seriously.
Right. 1,000%.
Give your endorsement to Byron Donalds. Do the right thing, brother.
I agree.
Don't ruin your legacy. Don't do it.
I 1,000% agree.
Obama did that by endorsing Biden. His legacy is over.
I feel like Obama killed his legacy after his first presidency, personally, after his first term.
Well, he definitely put it in comatose state, but with Biden,
he ruined
completely. He let's just say he took off the heart monitor and he shut off the life support machine on that one.
Very true. Very, very true.
Trump Donalds in the 2026 governor's race. Do you also plan to endorse the congressman? And if not, who are you looking at and why?
You know, my view is Donald Trump just got into office. I want these congressmen focused on enacting his agenda. They haven't done very much yet. They're not putting his executive orders into place. We'll see what they do on the spending. But we have such a narrow majority that to be trying to campaign other places and missing these votes, I think is not something that's advisable at all.
No, bro. You just don't want him to go against your wife.
That's what it is.
That's all it is, because Donald Trump's doing just fine with everything he's doing. We're only a month in, and things are like, we're 90%.
I was about to say, the dude has signed more executive orders in the last 30 days. They just passed the spending package too, didn't they?
Dude.
The budget?
Yeah, dude. Illegal immigration is down like 80-90%.
Yeah, and you know Ron DeSantis is benefiting from that, He no longer has to put those resources into that.
All right.
Because, Florida was very adamant about getting the illegal immigrants out where they can find them. And they were up against the, Biden with that one, just like Greg Abbott was in Texas.
That's very true.
But, Florida had the advantage of the water around them.
Yep.
Texas doesn't have that advantage.
Nope, because they're just a huge state.
with a 1,500-mile borderline that our ex-president or whatever
just left wide open.
wide open, and he started selling the wall for $5 a piece. It's like, come on.
Tried to. They stopped it.
Biden with his own thing. Come on, Biden. Man.
They stopped it before it was done. Luckily, he didn't get to sell any of the wall. Luckily, so you guys in the comments down below, let me know. Do you guys think that Ron DeSantis is being genuine right here, or do you just think he's being a sourpuss about it and doesn't want to back Byron Donalds and wants to act like it's because Trump this, Trump that, or is he just doing it because his wife's the one? He wants his wife to run. Let us know.
Can I say one honest thing before we go to Ron DeSantis is talking out the side of his mouth because he wants his wife to be governor because he doesn't want to let the position go. Because he's going to be controlling that situation from the inside, man. It's just, he's got to let it go.
Right.
He did a great job. Awesome job. But he's got to let it go.
He's been talking a little bit about out of the side of his neck ever since he ran against Trump for president.
That's true. That's true. And I don't think he's let that...
let it go.
How do I say? Yeah, I don't think he's let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. I thought he did, but it's not sounding like he has.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Well, let's hear it from the man's mouth himself. Let's see what else he's got to say on this.
The reality is we've achieved victories in Florida. We need to start achieving those victories up there. So I think people look at it and say, you got a guy like Byron. He just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it. He's been in other states campaigning, doing that, and that's fine. But okay, well then deliver results up there. That's what I want to see. I want to see them delivering results for the people of Florida. We deliver it here all the time for the people of Florida, and that's what we need to be doing. And so, I've said I'm going to be, raising money. We're going to be looking to have somebody that's going to be able to continue and build off the success that we've had here in Florida. I think a lot of people think somehow the battle's been won and you don't have to worry about it. We could revert very quickly. That could happen, 100%. And so it really needs to be, okay, are you going to be somebody that's going to fight for people, especially when it's not easy? Have you been willing to get in and get involved in these big battles that we've had and have won over these many years? And if you're not willing to do that, then I think we are going to see this state revert. So I would not take anything for granted. I know people have been we've had hundreds of thousands of people move here specifically because of the policies that we have. And I think that that's something that you should not take for granted. This is not necessarily something that just goes on autopilot. And it's just something that I think is really, really important. So my thing is yes, we've achieved these victories. We have more to do. But you got to solidify that, and then you got to take it to the next level, and that's really what the name of the game is.
But what he doesn't realize is the next level is Byron Donalds.
That's what I was about to say. And I don't know, what does he think Byron's trying to do? I mean, and first of all, what Donald Trump does for Florida, newsflash, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump is America's president, not just Florida's.
Right.
Not just Ohio's,
right.
Not just Texas's. He's not just, we could go down the list, but we're not going to do that. But he is America's president. Byron Donalds right now does work for Congress, but his Congress is for America. He's working for America too, while representing his state of Florida in their best interests. But at the same time, it still has to be he's working for America. If he truly wants Byron Donalds to work for Florida, then the answer is simple. Byron Donalds, 2026 for president or for governor of the state of Florida. It's a no-brainer.
Without a doubt. So here we got Donalds finally responding to him. So let's check this out.
Florida Congressman Byron Donalds has announced, yes, he is entering the race for governor of Florida. Right. President Trump has endorsed Donalds, but DeSantis has not.
My view is Donald Trump just got into office.
All right, we heard this.
I want these congressmen focused on enacting his agenda. The reality is
Well, look who's here now, Congressman Byron Donalds, the man himself. DeSantis says you were not part of the victories. Would you like to respond to that?
No, not really. Listen, Stu, I'm truly thankful, first, to have the support of President Trump and have his complete and total endorsement to run to be the next governor of Florida. I would say, in terms of what I've been able to accomplish in my time in elected politics, when I was a freshman in the state legislature, I passed the first bill of its kind in the country that gave parents and community members an ability to actually examine what was in the textbook materials of students, so we could actually find out what was actually going on in the indoctrination of our kids. I passed that bill into law in the state legislature of Florida. Then Governor Rick Scott signed it. I also passed one of the major expansions of school choice at that time in Florida's history with the Hope Scholarship to help children who were being bullied in schools, to give them an opportunity to go to another school of their choice and of their parents' choice. So I've been very successful in helping the move of school choice and also the move of the conservative movement through politics over the last decade. Look, my record speaks for itself. I'm very happy to have President Trump's support. And so right now, this is about the future of Florida, the voters of Florida, and doing everything possible to make sure that not only do we continue to be the best state in the country, but that we take it to new heights.
All right, Carlson, Republicans were able to push through the frame.
I love everything he just said right there.
And everything he said is absolutely correct.
1,000%. What? There's nothing wrong with what he just said right there. This is how the person who is running for your governor, this is how you want him to talk.
I don't understand why Ron DeSantis the only thing I can figure is it's the power trip thing, man. What else can there be? Why would you not want to endorse Byron Donalds? This guy has literally been part of the Maga movement since he was able to vote. Right. I mean, like you said, he was part of the original Tea Party movement. Right. He was literally 18 years old when that happened.
It don't make sense, because Ron DeSantis, when he first ran for governor in the beginning, he ran all on being a Maga governor.
Yes, he did.
So
he was going to make America Florida again.
Your wife is not the passing of the torch. Byron Donalds is. This Byron is the passing Donalds of the torch. He's part of the movement. That's your wife. That's like saying that Joe Biden should run for president.
Again,
there's no logic.
Oh yeah, Jill. Well, she was already president for 4 years.
Well, so. Yeah, okay. And look where we went.
I mean, we don't know that for a fact, but look
where the country went.
Let's be honest. Somebody had to have been calling the shots in the Oval Office.
That's very true.
Framework for Trump's big, beautiful bill last night. First step in funding the president's agenda and extending those tax cuts. Very important. Can you give us a time frame for when we get the whole thing done and signed by the president?
Look, I think it's gonna be a lot of negotiations. If you were gonna ask me, I think probably around May, maybe June, we probably all get it done. There's gonna be major negotiations around some elements of tax policy, not the big stuff that the president talks about, not the major reauthorization of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. I think there's some other items that need to get worked out, and we'll get there. The center of this deal is going to be mandatory spending. There has to be mandatory spending reductions. We simply do not have a choice. What Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did is they massively expanded federal spending, and they used COVID-19 as an excuse. Our nation simply cannot.
They sure as shit did.
Yeah, they did.
They really did.
Excuse to go hog wild crazy, and they thought they were going to buy the 2024 election too.
Yeah, and it didn't, and it wasn't happening. The people spoke this time.
Backfired.
1,000%.
Backfired on them.
1,000%.
They saw incompetency at its worst,
without a doubt.
And that was the biggest determiner right there. I mean,
it's crazy that they tried throwing Kamala at us like people were going to fall for that.
Well, the diehard libs fell for it. They were having joy.
It didn't matter who it was. They were voting against Trump. They weren't voting for a person.
When I heard Obama get up there on the stage in the Democratic convention, and he said, "We are the party of joy. This is the campaign of joy." And he's looking out the side of his eyes at the audience to see the reaction. And the reaction he was looking for was, I hope they don't realize that I'm just bullshitting.
Right, because everybody knows he was.
He was.
He knew he was.
Absolutely was talking poop.
He knew
he knew that was BS.
He knew he was.
afford that over the long term. We have to be realistic, we have to be efficient, and we have to be responsible. And so House Republicans working with Senate Republicans under the leadership of President Trump, we're going to get this done. But spending cuts is really going to be the linchpin to get this entire one big beautiful bill done into the president's desk as soon as possible.
You're introducing a bill to shut down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. What's wrong with it? Why are you doing that?
Well, listen, this is legislation that I've filed every year I've been in Congress. The CFPB is one of the worst agencies ever created. It is a rogue agency that has little to no oversight from Congress or even from the executive branch. They go off and they put out memos, they put out notices, they walk in and out of companies with impunity. They don't even get their money from Congress. They go to the Federal Reserve and they just send a letter over there saying we need X amount of money, and the Fed gives it to them. That's how the CFPB was designed by Elizabeth Warren and the radical Democrats when they were moving Dodd-Frank.
Oh, that's ridiculous. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
It is.
They should have to
do. That's like the USAID.
They should have to go through the channels just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
They designed it to be a rogue agency.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I say that's just like the USAID, the USAID. They make it sound like it's some good thing, like they're helping people. But it's not. It's all about, it's the U.S. Well, I forget what the actual words stand for again, the USAID. What does it stand for again?
I seen it the other day. I don't remember.
You
know what it stands for? No, I'll tell you what it stands for. It stands for corruption. That's what it stands for.
Pretty much. I mean, it's definitely a corrupt.
Just a way to steal our money and funnel it into other people's pockets.
Pretty much, they were funneling it back into their own.
Right.
They were giving the money to all those non-government organizations, which is a nice word for charities that really don't even exist.
It's a money front.
Yeah,
outside of the oversight of Congress. That does not respect our Constitution. It doesn't respect the will of the people, and that's why that agency must be closed.
Got it.
Without a doubt.
Yep. Close it down. Shave those funds because it's you know what, America's tired of putting the bill.
Right. So
corrupt NGOs.
I like that Donald's is doing his thing. He decided the best move for him is to become the governor of Florida. And I don't see him losing. Nope. I don't see him not being the Republican candidate. And I don't see anybody beating him in Florida. I don't care who it is.
They're not going to beat him, dude. There's nobody else that's stepping up to the plate as well as he is. And just real quick, it's the United States Agency for International Development.
That's
but
what
they
it
make
is.
It sound like
it's
US
aiding.
Aid.
We're aiding them.
We're not aiding anybody.
We're not aiding anybody. If anything,
they use those acronyms to make it sound like we are, but
right.
We're really just investing a bunch of money in Taiwanese, or not Taiwanese, but well, them too, I'm sure. But one for sure that I absolutely did know about was they were investing like $20 million for people in Thailand to do sex changes on trans animals. Really?
It's so weird. What's a trans animal?
I have no idea.
I mean, I've seen cats before think they're dogs. That doesn't make them dogs.
No, it sure don't. Just because they think they are.
Right.
I have one of those. He thinks he's a dog. He thinks he's bigger than he is.
Oh, dude,
I've seen him out at 6 o'clock every morning. I've seen a dog that thinks he's a cat and would literally jump on top of the refrigerator like he's a cat and walk across the counters and shit like he's a cat. He must have been. Was he a big dog or a little dog?
It was a little dog. I seen a video of a dog.
I can see that happening.
Not like a tiny dog, kind of like a Lola-sized dog, like my dog.
So I think the bottom line here is Ron DeSantis, give your endorsement to Byron Donalds, man.
Exactly.
Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing.
Exactly.
This is a movement. This is the revolution.
It's not about your wife. It's not about your wife, my dude. This is about the American people and the will of the American people.
and the will of the state of Florida and the
Yes.
Floridian people that, deserve the best leadership, just like he has provided for them.
Right.
He has given them great
Yeah,
leadership.
nobody's taken away what he's done. He's done greatness.
His achievements are
for it.
unbelievable.
He's done greatness. I visited Florida during the scamdemic, and it was one of the freest. Like, I didn't have to walk around with a mask.
Freest state in the union.
I went to a wrestling pay-per-view. We didn't have to wear masks. You know what I mean? Like, it was literally the freest state at the time. So I'll give him his flowers, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm supporting your wife. Byron Donalds is who you need to put your
Byron
support
Donalds
in.
will be the next governor of Florida. That's just, and honestly, I think at some point Ron DeSantis is going to come around.
Oh, without a doubt.
There's people advising him right now, like, "Hey, man,
It's your wife. You got to support her."
We get it, but
Right.
she's not going to win the primaries.
Right.
She's not going to win the primaries.
No,
and she's very well liked. Hannity is absolutely right about that.
Right.
He's a very well liked person. She's a beautiful person. She's beautiful heart, beautiful soul.
Right.
She's not meant to be governor of Florida, and that's just the
Nothing wrong with
reality.
that.
And
There's nothing wrong with that,
nothing
though.
wrong with that. That's right.
All right, so let's end it with something a little more personal for us, where we get where our governor is going to possibly be Vivek Ramaswamy, and with the same thing with him as Byron Donalds, especially getting this huge endorsement from Trump. I don't see him not being the next governor of Ohio.
Well, I think J.D. Vance gave him his endorsement also.
Right, which
just recently, like in the
rightfully
last day or
so. That's his boy, though. You know what I mean? Of course.
Yeah,
he's
no,
gonna
I
do
know.
that.
They're tight. They are. I mean, they're from the same area.
They went to
They're
college
both from that
together and
area.
stuff.
Yeah. And they're both from that area. I mean, they're from that southern part of Ohio. We're from northern Ohio.
Yeah.
But they're,
They're closer to the Natty.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. This is Trump.
They're Butler County bros, man. They're
Yes.
Butler County bros.
So this is Trump endorsing.
Now some breaking news. A major endorsement for Vivek Ramaswamy after he launched his bid to become Ohio's next.
How come? So, isn't it funny right there on NBC, sorry. His name's Vivek. He says Vivek. But if they were to say.
The libs never get it right, dude. They refuse to say his name.
No, what I'm saying is, if we were to say Maxine Waters' name the wrong way, oh, you're racist. That's racist.
Yeah, well, it's not racist if you're on the right side of the pendulum when it comes to the media.
That's
For the
very true.
mainstream media, if I may quote the great Rush Limbaugh, I mean the MS as
I call him MSDNC.
Yes, there you go. The MSDNC. Yes, and that's exactly what Rush called him all the time too.
Yeah.
So
just like I call CNN the Clinton News Network.
The Clinton, that again, coined by Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
He was the one that started that. Now, I call them the Commie News Network because, well, they've evolved from the Clinton years.
Honestly, what's the difference? There's no difference in the words.
Not today, there's not. They pretty much mean the same thing. But there was a time that Bill Clinton was still a capitalist. Not his wife.
Yeah.
She was always a commie.
Yeah,
But
she's always been a commie.
I digress. Let's get back to Vivek.
Trump is throwing his support behind him. Late last night, the president posted on Truth Social that Ramaswamy has his complete and total endorsement, saying he knows him well and that he would be a great governor. Ramaswamy ran for president in 2024, but ended his campaign during the primaries to support Trump. The biotech company founder was originally tapped to co-lead the Department of Government Efficiency alongside Elon Musk, but he quickly stepped down from that position in January, saying he was interested in the governor's office.
I love it. I love it because we have enough with Elon doing that, right?
Yeah,
we
Elon,
need
Elon be Elon.
We need Vivek to utilize his talents the right way, and we don't need two. We don't need two people doing that. That's a job for one person to hire a team for. This is the greatest thing that Vivek could do to keep his political career going.
And it's also the best thing he can do for the state of Ohio.
1,000%.
Who will revive our conviction in Ohio. And that is why today I am honored to announce that I am running to be the next governor of a great state at the heart of the greatest nation known to mankind, the state where I was born and raised.
Ramaswamy is the third Republican to enter the race for governor, Democrat and former director.
All right, so Dave Yost, I know he's not a bad.
Oh, Dave is a good man. He's a good guy. I've actually spoke with him personally before on the phone.
Yeah,
he's a good man. He's a good attorney general. Love the guy.
I don't know much about her.
I've never even seen her before. Obviously, we know who Amy Acton is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm not sure about who's this Heather Hill. I don't know anything about her. I haven't cited. I mean, she's obviously a MAGA woman. So
right.
I'm assuming. I mean, she looks like that age.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe she's a rhino, but I doubt it. She looks too young to be a rhino.
That's true. It seems like more of the rhinos are more older individuals that have been career politicians.
The rhinos are like Mike DeRhino.
Right. Yes, exactly. So I like the direction that Ohio's going in. I like that we see it. Here's the thing with Mike DeRhino, right? He always does 10 bad things and 1 good thing. And that seems to be his trademark, right?
I think Mike DeWine's always been a pretty weak leader to begin with.
But he's done some okay stuff, right?
And that's it. He's never going down in the history books as the greatest governor of Ohio. It's not going to happen.
To me, if you're doing 10 wrong things and 1 right thing, to me, you're a terrible leader.
Well, I mean, if you could get 1 or 2 or 3 things through, because politics is a hard.
No.
It is a tough game. It's a tough chess game to play on, but
that's not what I mean. I'm just saying, like, for example, do you remember when that whole eclipse thing was happening? What was that, last year? A couple years ago?
April 6th last year.
No, it wasn't the eclipse. What was the thing that people were driving from out of town to come to Ohio for?
Oh, that was the.
What was that?
It was from Pennsylvania. They were coming across to buy liquor.
No. There was something happening. Like, maybe it was some kind of event. But I remember my buddy sending me all kinds of rules that Mike DeWine made. And it was just ridiculous, like, dictator-type rules that didn't make any sense.
His true colors came out in the COVID.
Which, it is what it is.
I've not been a supporter of Mike DeWine since the COVID.
Yeah,
and
I've never been a supporter.
I'm not going to trash him either because I still think he's a good man.
Right, like I said, he's done some decent stuff.
He's a good man. I just think he's a very weak leader.
Very weak. Very, very weak.
Now, Dave Yost, he would be a good leader too, but you know what? We need young, vibrant leadership. And right now, that's Vivek Ramaswamy.
I like it. So Vivek shares some of his visions for Ohio. Now, a few of the things I heard that I liked. He's talking about getting rid of income tax altogether, kind of like how Florida and kind of like how Texas are.
Yeah.
And which makes sense.
Tennessee now too, by the way. Tennessee got rid they got rid of the income tax. They're just strictly sales tax driven.
Okay, I like that. I mean, that's like why I never understood the point of income tax, because it's like, you're taxing me to go to work.
Right.
But you want me to go to work.
If they do away with the income tax, though, the sales tax will probably go up a little bit.
Yeah, probably be like 11%.
But I'm actually cool with that if I don't have to pay the state income tax, because I can choose not to buy something.
Right, for sure. You can buy whatever you want.
I got that free will. I mean, that's a God-given right to say, you know what? I don't want to buy that today.
Right. And I really hope he also lowers the property tax, because that'll help me out a lot.
Yeah, they need to do that statewide, because it's getting a little out of hand.
It's gotten a little too ridiculous.
And I'm not really sure how that happened in a red state.
I don't know either, to tell you the truth.
Ohio's always been more. Up until the last 3 elections, it's pretty much been a purple state most of the time.
True, but very true.
Maybe it was just an evolution of that.
You're probably right. You know what doesn't make sense to me, though? We give so much of our property tax goes to schooling, where the kids don't know anything.
That's why we got to change that. Vivek was hitting on. That was my biggest point. Vivek Ramaswamy is just like Byron Donalds. I mean, he wants to make Ohio's education system right up there with Florida's and
exactly.
Up there with Florida's because right now they're the best in the nation education wise. Yeah, but not for long. We're going to be right there next to them. Maybe we won't pass them, but if you're in the top 10, you're good.
Without a doubt. All right, so I haven't heard all of his plans, though. Let's see if he says a few more things of what he wants to do here.
Here today, Vivek Ramaswamy officially declared his candidacy for governor of the Buckeye State, Ohio, during a rally in Cincinnati. Take a look.
We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country.
Yes.
Where we lead the way in the sectors of the future, from semiconductors to aerospace. Look at where we are today. How about this company, guys? Love this, in the heart of Butler County, an aerospace company leading us to the future, all the way to AI and the other sectors of our future. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country, where patriots across America actually flock to instead of Florida and Texas. I will lead Ohio to be the state of excellence in America.
That's what I'm
Vivek
talking
Ramaswamy
about.
joins us now with more. His first interview since announcing his run. Oh, look, you already have the crowd behind you. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello to everybody there. How are you?
Thank you. They're good, Sean. They can't hear you.
All right, you had me in the speech until you went after my state of Florida and said you're going to bury Florida and Ohio's going to be beating Florida. You had me up to that point because I'm pretty competitive.
I love it. Yeah. He wants Ohio to be
competitive in the market.
But the Florida of the Midwest. That's what he's trying to make it. That's what he wants it to be. He wants us to be the Florida of the Midwest.
We got beautiful coastlines. Hey. They're cold 3 months out of the year, but
yeah.
They're still gorgeous, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell us about what's going on.
Look, I think it's a little friendly competition between our states is a good thing, Sean. That's what federalism was built on. I do want to lead Ohio to be the top state in the country, especially in one area.
That's something that every governor should want, though. So that's
every governor should want to be the best in the country.
Right, nothing wrong with that.
If they all strive to be the best in the country, we would be the best country in the world, which I believe we are.
For sure.
But I believe Americans would believe it too, on both sides. But then again, you know what? You can't fix stupid either, and we have a lot of stupid people on the left. It is what it is.
It's very true. Very true.
I mean, that's brutal honesty at its worst, but or at its best, because they are. I don't know. I don't want to diss anybody because they're on the left, but at the same time,
1,000%.
If you are on the left and you support those radical ideologies of communism,
there's something wrong with you.
You're probably in the wrong country.
Yeah, and you got some screws loose for sure.
Yeah, they definitely need to reevaluate their values for sure.
1,000%. All right, let's get back to it.
Not enough, which is educational excellence even in our public schools.
Yep.
I want to make Ohio the first state in the country where we implement merit-based pay for teachers, principals, superintendents.
I like that a lot.
So that the best teachers who should be paid more are actually paid more. But that comes at the expense of a lot of dead weight hanging around.
Yes.
I want to get the cell phones out of the classroom. I want to bring back early physical education. So educational excellence, I think, is a core theme, especially as it relates to the achievement of our kids, Sean. And that's something we talked about tonight.
You know, the #1 public schools in the country,
It's actually not a bad idea to take cell phones out of the schools.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, because they're spending more time looking on their phone, Googling it, than they are paying attention in the classroom.
Yeah, and then you got these punk kids recording teachers that are doing nothing wrong, and they're making it seem like they're doing something wrong, and it's just, it's getting pathetic at this point.
Yeah, well, the inmates are running the asylum, and they're not doing a very good job.
It's very true.
What state it is, right?
Well, right now it is. Absolutely not Ohio. But I do think that we have
Florida.
to lead to the future we want to get to. And look, I think that take a look at the entire country. I mean, Donald Trump was elected in a decisive mandate. He's reviving our confidence in America. I think we need a leader here at home, Sean, who revives our conviction in Ohio. Donald Trump was the greatest president we've had in our 21st century. Now we need governors across the country who rise to that same occasion and lead at the state level. When you think about programs in healthcare or education, What they're doing to the federal bureaucracy is beautiful, but a lot of those programs are now going to move to the states and to the people. So I do think now is a moment where we're going to require strong-willed governors to lead the way, and I'm excited to lead the charge here in Ohio.
You know, I will tell you,
Very true.
Your passion is infectious by every
He is
measure.
a strong leader.
I will tell you, it is sad what has happened to the educational system in this country. And yeah, I'm all in favor of getting rid of the Department of Education. I'm all in favor.
I'm all in for that.
1,000%, dude. They failed us for the past 40, 50. They failed us since the Department of Education became a thing.
Which was in the 1960s or 1970s?
I think it was like
either
70.
way.
Jimmy Carter started it, correct?
So 1976. So yeah, and it has been a total failure ever since too. And it
Jimmy Carter?
I believe you're right. I believe the Department of Education was started by Jimmy Carter when he became president. Yes, it was one of the first things it was one of the first departments he created.
Which president started the Department of Education? Yep, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy.
Look,
Jimmy's a nice guy. He's a good man. He's got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Again, weak president,
very
good leader. Just wasn't his thing. He's still a great man. Habitat for Humanity is a great organization and charity.
Yeah.
Got nothing but love for the man, but as a president, he was very disappointing.
Very disappointing. All right.
Block granting the money to states. I believe local officials will do better. Parents would make better choices than somebody at the federal level. It is
without a doubt
such a shame that we pay more per capita per child on education, and we get the worst results in the entire industrialized world.
Sad.
And when I hear you passionately say you're going to fix that in Ohio and fix the issue of law and order and become a hub for business and innovation and technology, to me, it's just basic common sense. That's why Florida does well. That's why Texas does well. That's why, a lot of Republican governors have been doing well. And I like the competition as well. I want to see Ohio do well. I want every state to do well.
Right. That's
Absolutely.
how it should be.
That should be the goal right there.
Right. You should want every state, because at the end of the day, we're all America. We're all the United States of America. And we need to be a well-oiled machine in order for the country to work properly. So when you have...
And we're all in this together, whether we like it or not.
Right. And so when you have states like Maryland or states like Illinois or states like Michigan, or even, I don't know, I don't think our schooling system has been ranked very high lately. When you have stuff like that, it brings down your country as a whole.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if everybody strives for excellence, you will be the best and the greatest on the planet.
So 1976, that's 50 years next year, correct?
Yep. Yeah,
so
hopefully it'll be dissolved by then.
So 50 years of failure, 50 years of corruption, 50 years of making kids worse than what they should be.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy Carter's, intentions.
No, I'll say that I don't think anybody's intentions would to be ruin our youth. I think that it just comes along with it with so much government control.
Yeah, when you have bureaucracy involved and there's too many hands and too many chiefs and not enough warriors, I mean, you're going to have issues,
It's very true. So
everybody wanted. The problem with the Department of Education is it is very much an administration-focused organization,
right?
Which means it's focused more on raises for administration, raises for superintendents, raises for the bureaucracy and the school boards, and teachers too. I'm sure they're but merit-based means there'll be less principals getting raises, and they will, but they'll get them based on how well their students are doing.
Right, rightfully so,
and
though.
So will the teachers.
That's incentives. That's a real incentive for a job.
I mean, if you're an engineer and you're a crappy engineer,
you're not
good. there's a good chance you're probably going to be working at the neighborhood laundromat.
Exactly.
But if you're the best engineer on the block, there's a good chance you're going to be working at Lincoln Electric.
Yeah, and you're going to get promotions, and you're going to be a top guy in the company.
Yeah, you're going to get paid your worth, but if you're useless,
yeah, you're just useless.
If you're useless, I mean, then
you're just useless.
You're just useless. Yeah, I mean, why would we want to pay for that? But right now, that's what we've been doing for 50 years. We've been paying for mediocrity,
yes,
and paying way more than everybody else has been paying for that mediocrity at that. So
it's sad. So I agree with what
something's got to give.
I agree with him, and I agree with dismantling the Department of Education, 1,000%.
Absolutely, it should be back to the hands of the states.
Yep, 1,000%.
Put it
exactly,
in
and
the
that's
hands
how
of the
our
states.
country works at its best, Sean. These are time-tested principles. Smaller government, put the money back in the pockets of the people who actually live here. Transparency for the taxpayer. I want everybody in Ohio to see how their money is actually being spent, from the state level to the local level, to bring sunlight as the best disinfectant. And I just think that we live in a special moment in our country. I'm as optimistic as I've ever been for our future now with President Trump in office. But we've got to take that agenda now to the next level. We've got to carry that forward to the future. Shutting down the Department of Education is a great first step, but then we have to stand for the achievement and education of our students in math, where 75% of eighth graders aren't proficient in math according to international standards. There's kids in other countries where English isn't even their first language, doing better on English proficiency than our own kids here. That's unacceptable to me, Sean, as an Ohioan, as an American, as a parent. But the good news is we're going to step up and actually fix it. I don't want to just curse the darkness. We're actually going to drive that positive change through action in our state. And I believe our country's best days are ahead of us. And I would like Ohio, as a state that led the first industrial revolution, to be a state whose best days are ahead as well.
1,000%.
Economically speaking, I think it's something you'll understand, Sean. If Silicon Valley led the way in the American economy for the last 10 years, I want to make sure it is the Ohio River Valley for the next 10 years in the sectors of the future. And that's where I'm going to lead us.
How do you incentivize businesses to invest all that money? I mean, listen, Texas had a really big win, and I don't think if Donald Trump lost this election that Apple would be investing $500 billion and committing $500 billion in 4 years and building a plant in Texas and creating tens of thousands of jobs. I think they got the message loud and clear. Bring manufacturing back to this country, create high-paying career jobs for Americans. And that's all we really want, free and fair trade with our partners. We don't want to be stepped on by our partners. And they've taken advantage of us, and we let them do it, and they have not been held accountable for it.
Yep.
Well, President Trump is holding them accountable for unfair practices, and he's also leading the way federally. What he really needs is partners at the states who can actually do the same thing. So you asked about spurring economic innovation. President Trump's doing his part, but we need to make states like Ohio zero income tax states, bring down the property taxes, cut the regulatory burden, slash the red tape, bring down the permitting timelines for energy dominance and manufacturing dominance. So we're going to do our part. Ohio hopefully sets a standard for the rest of the country, and I'm excited for what we're going to be able to achieve by moving our state and our country forward.
I love
make Ohio great again.
I love everything he said right there, right? No income tax, lower the property tax, make the education system better. I don't understand how anybody wouldn't want to vote for that.
Well, I think he's going to win by a landslide. And you notice the Democrats, the only one that's got their hat in the race is Amy Acton.
Yeah. No,
and again, she's a good lady. She's a good lady. But dude, she's going to drop out. I don't think she's going to make it all the way to the election.
No.
There's nobody running against her, though, so maybe.
We're turning more red than anything lately.
That is definitely the case. I mean, there's obviously two women in the race, and one is a Republican and one is a Democrat.
Right.
And that Democrat who's running, she was well liked. But, back in the COVID lockdowns, when there was those situations and it was rightfully wrong it was wrong for the people that were, parking in front of her house and harassing her and her family. I mean, I do not condone that in any stretch of the word or any way at all. But she also had a hard time with that right away. It scared her, and she dropped out of that show every day with Wine with the Wine or whatever it was, where they would go on every day and do the COVID reports. But she dropped out of that.
Right.
If she couldn't handle that, how is she going to handle the pressure of politics?
She's not going to be able to.
No,
she'll be
I
done.
mean, dude, it's gonna beat her down. She won't. I don't even think she makes it to election day.
I don't see Vivek losing this. I really don't.
No. The only way Vivek could lose this is if he starts killing puppies in front of the APL.
Yeah.
And again, that may only take about 8 or 9% off of.
Right.
Off of it, you know what I mean?
Those would just be the
probably wouldn't drop them below 40%.
Yeah, those will be the huge animal supporters for sure.
That's it. Yeah, the PETA people will lose their freaking minds. But other than that,
1000%.
but I mean, the way it stands right now, he's at 52% polling, and there's only 4 people in the race now. David Yost is second, I think, at 18%.
Yeah, I don't see Vivek losing. I don't see it.
No.
Right.
Like I said, he would have to do something really stupid to lose the race.
Chat, let us know down below. What do you guys think will happen in the 2026 Ohio election? Do you think Vivek has it in a landslide? Do you think somebody else is going to come in and steal his thunder? What do you guys think? Let us know. So, on that note, I think we should end it. And here's the things I take away from today. Zelensky's a chump.
I agree.
Byron Donalds is a beast.
A bulldog.
And Vivek and him are both going to be the next governors of the respectful states.
Absolutely. And we'll have the 3 amigos back, and all 3 will be red as can be. Florida, Ohio, and Texas.
I love it.
The 3 amigos.
I love it.
I'm ready for it. I can't wait. Like I said in my own show, I have never been more excited about a gubernatorial race, because honestly, this is the first time in my lifetime we've actually had a candidate who is inspiring.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to diss John Kasich. He was a good governor, but he was boring and he's uninspiring. So, I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this Vivek is the future, and he's setting the bar higher than it's ever been set.
I love it.
For the state of Ohio, and I love it too.
So on that note, you guys, we're going to end it. This is our first episode of the Brick Road Podcast. If you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that like for us, hit that subscription, hit the notification, and comment down below. Let us know what you think of everything. Let us know what you think of Byron Donalds. Let us know what you think of Vivek, and let us know what you think of that chump Vladimir Zelensky. This is Bird and Double D. We are Project XYZ. We really appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a great evening and a great day. Peace.
And as always, we'd like to thank our audience. Thanks for watching this. And I would personally like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir, because without God, none of this is possible. So make sure to say your prayers and have a great one.
Good night, y'all.